cats and kittens. My name is Alonda Carter and I am the recovering Hunbot. I create anti-MLM videos, so if you enjoy that sort of thing, it's your jam, then you might want to consider subscribing. Today's video is part 2 of the sanitary napkin MLM. Yes, that's right. I did say sanitary napkin. And you know what's really bizarre is I think there's even more to unpack, but there's really only so much I can put in any one video, and we're going to be covering a lot. And it's really something that is making me not so happy. A little bit hot under the collar, you know. I am really irritated that a bodily function, a biological function, has been monetized by men. If you would like to support me as an anti-MLM content creator, then the very best way you can do that is to join my Patreon. There'll be a link to that in the video description. There's 3 tiers ranging from $1 to $10 a month. Literally any amount helps. And us creators, we appreciate any and all support that we get from the people who subscribe, who stumble across our videos, all that sort of jazz. As a matter of fact, I'm doing a giveaway for my patrons sometime in the relatively near future, something like that, because I recently subscribed to some beauty boxes. Long story as to why all of my stuff is ancient, and it does kind of relate to MLM, you know, and everything I've been through. But I'm like replacing stuff that is beyond ancient, and I know I'm going to get stuff that I don't like for whatever reason. It's not a color that's my kind of thing, that I know it's going to look bad on me, or, you know, whatever. It's like just going to be something I'm not going to use. And instead of it occupying space within my home, or me just chunking it, because I don't ever like just chunking something that's not been used and feeling wasteful, I'd rather give back. And I want to give to my patrons, and then I also want to be able to give to my subscribers too. And that's, I mean, all of this is in the works. It's not like it's next week or anything. I'm working on it, but I figure why not give back to the people who support me. And also, you know, it's just kind of a nice way that I'm not being wasteful, because if I can avoid waste, I will. Now, last week I talked to you about Cherish sanitary pads, and those were brought to us by the Inspire Network, which was a multi-level marketing company. It was sold off, and Wakaya Perfection bought all that. So now the Cherish brand, those sanitary napkins, are being sold by Wakaya Perfection. But those men who brought us Cherish and brought the very first multi-level marketing company that monetized menstruation are at it again. Now, I have some thoughts and I have information for you about this, because I'm really hot under the collar. It really bothers me a great deal, because the thing is, as a woman, I don't have to deal with it anymore, but I know what it's like to start menstruating, and it's not a bucket of fun. It's a suck bucket. It's inconvenient. I mean, you know, sometimes it just shows up and you're not expecting it. It's just not fun. And the thing is I don't care how much somebody reads about this function. I don't care how many women they talk to. They don't have the body parts. They don't have a uterus. They don't go through it. If you are born with a uterus, you're going to go through this. And the thing is, me as a female, as a woman, guess what? There's things about men's anatomy I'll never get, and I'm talking about ED. I'll never get that. You know why? I wasn't born with that equipment. I don't know what it's like. You know, well, I mean, I do in other ways, but in that experience of having it attached to me, I don't know what that's like. So I'm not going to be able to really speak to that. Imagine if, you know, women started shilling pills for that. It's kind of the same thing to me, you know. It's like, you're really going to do that? It just really makes me uncomfortable, and I find MLM wrong on all levels to begin with. But the fact that something that biologically happens when you have a uterus, that an MLM, not once but twice, has been created to enslave women to get on auto ship with sanitary napkins, I just think is horrific, and it is just beyond predatory. So if this sounds interesting or entertaining, then, come with me and I'll take you on this journey of what else I have found out. And, I'm just trying to speak very frankly about it because, why not? There's a lot of things people do and don't talk about, but I'm going to talk about this because I really find it just so repugnant, that there's men who are like, gee, hey, Bill, hey, Bob, you know what? I had this great idea. I mean, I just am wrapping my head around this. I just don't know. I just don't know. And you may be uncomfortable with it, but, even if you're uncomfortable with it, maybe you need to stick with it. I don't know. It's up to you if you want to watch the rest of it or not. But I'm going to get into it. Before I get into all the things that I'm going to say and the information I'm going to give you, we are going to watch a very speeded up, it was 20, 30 minutes, something like that, of this man demonstrating them, for a crowd. And so we're going to check that out, and then I'm going to give you all the tea that I have on this at this moment afterwards. According to this video, the person who created it, his name is Crump, and he is the CEO of Juul. Now, Crump has a connection to the Inspire network. Big surprise, I know, it's a shocker. In my first video on the Sanitary pad MLM, I told you that Spencer Iverson is the founder of the Inspire network. I found information that places him as the CEO too. Demon Coleman was also mentioned in my previous video. Joel Medina is also credited as being one of the founders and the COO. And as you can see, back in 2017, both Demon Coleman and Demon Crump were making an appearance at an event in Tennessee. So all four of these men who were part of the Inspire network, who were part of bringing the first sanitary napkin, MLM, there's a relationship there. And that relationship continues. Now, I did want to call out Joel Medina, and the reason I'm doing this is, and he's doing something else right now, and I'll get into that in a little bit, but I had that interview over the weekend with Peter Kahn, who studied MLM in Mexico, and Mr. Medina is bilingual. According to LinkedIn, he is with something called Forex Trader, and there's also this website given, and he's also listed as a co-owner of the Cherished Brands and some other things. In 2017, he says he launched the direct sales company, and it was sold in 2018. And this is all in reference to selling Cherish, to Wakaya Perfection. And remember, Wakaya is, still shilling the Cherish brand, the sanitary pads. In 2019, he decided to focus more on Forex trading and the stock market. And he has a business podcast, and I cannot pronounce it because it's in Spanish. I'm going to just completely butcher it. But that podcast is also on YouTube. Since he's bilingual, his stuff is in Spanish, and I'm not bilingual. On July 9th of 2018, he uploaded a video which the title translates into English as Factors When Evaluating an MLM Company. And, again, I go back to this whole thing with my conversation with Peter. And something just tells me that whatever he's peddling is not good for his audience, but positions it in such a way as to, quote, save them, sort of a thing. And now when I go through his website, I can see that he has this connection to cryptocurrencies. Now, I haven't gone down that rabbit hole, cryptocurrency MLM, which there is one, and somebody's in hiding, and it's been requested for me to do that. If you're interested in it, let me know in the comments. But I have concerns because there's been some events around crypto recently which make all of that very sketch as far as I'm concerned. Back to Demon Crump. As you can see from this Facebook post, he launched a new company. That new company is 6-Star and Jewel. Those kind of seem to be used interchangeably, but what I think is going on is Jewel is the sanitary pad portion of it, and 6-Star is the MLM. I'm not really sure, and I will tell you this, guys. Finding information about either Jewel or 6-Star is not easy. But this first Facebook post over here from March 18th of 2019, it says, last night, Mr. Demon Crump unveiled his new company, 6-Star and Jewel, a revolutionary product in Atlanta, Georgia. We now know what the wow factor is all about. Yep, it's all about sanitary pads. Well, in addition to that, I found another post that he made in 2020. Facebook family, I have never asked you guys for anything. Today, I would appreciate your vote at the link below, as we are in the running with businesses across America in a contest with FedEx. And I did check this out. And yes, FedEx is offering a grant, and so he was looking for more backing for his, new sanitary napkin MLM. Now, the big thing about this sanitary napkin is the word graphene. As a matter of fact, that speeded up video that I shared with you, he holds up a couple of books about graphene that he's read. He talks about conferences that he's been to. So this is a sacred science. This is the thing that makes this sanitary napkin different from all others in the entire world if you listen to him. So it's defined as a fullerene consisting of bonded carbon atoms in sheet form 1 atom thick. Now, one of the things that I find so very disturbing is that the word jewel is used, and it's being used to refer to part of the female anatomy, and and also to women. I've seen it used in both ways, and I find that to be just a bit off-putting, and I also find it as a way to be a bit condescending to women. It really bugs me. And they have this whole program, Justice for My Jewel, and there is a website which is www.jfmj.org. Again, these websites and stuff, unless you know where to look, it's very hard to find them. So this says, thank you and welcome all visitors that are researching Justice for My Jewel awareness campaign. It is an honor to be able to help you in taking action in our movement. If you do not have a sponsor, please click on Join Now to join our fast-growing company. Once your enrollment certificate is received, you will be added to our closed Facebook group for details and information on this awesome movement. Okay, so you don't really get a lot of information unless you join. We are here to network, learn, and build our 6-Star family. Do you see there's that connection right there, 6-Star and Jewel. Now let's go and change some lives together. Okay, all of this makes me really uncomfortable. All of it speaks very much of MLM jargon, and this also speaks to the sacred science of having something that's going to save the world. It uses all of those things that I have spoken about in other videos. So on the Justice for Jewel website, I find that you can join either as an independent distributor or a wholesale distributor. The price is the same. Now, what is the exact difference? To me, the only thing that looks like to be the difference is that the independent distributor is going to build a team, you know? And I think they have this here as a way like, oh, you don't have to, you know, create a team. You can just do this on your own and you can just sell it to people. You can put it in your store or something like that. Or you can choose actually to make more money and build a team. You see what I mean? Because MLMs tend to have something where there's like, you know, these select customers or something, and then there's distributors. And that's kind of a way to get around the fact and kind of give the illusion that, yes, there are people who just want to buy these things. We have this retail customer base, and the truth is, no MLM really does. I found this graphic and it shows you that there are 8 layers. And this sanitary napkin is purported to help relieve painful abdominal cramps, help balance the body's pH, help eliminate harmful bacteria, help with aroma, help fight fatigue, boost metabolism, boost immune system. Graphene moves heat away from your core and contains vibrational energy. Okay, let me just ask you this. WTF? WTF? I'm sorry, vibrational energy. Again, I go back to sacred science, that they have something that's all special and all different. But then I stumbled across this. It is the patent for graphene sanitary towels, which, you know, translates into what? Sanitary napkins, of course. Jewel launched June 1st of 2019. And you can see this application was put in 2016. So, if you would believe the people behind Jewel, they make it sound as if they discovered something and that they created these sanitary napkins. But did they? The Cherish sanitary napkin was, you know, also advertised in much the same way of with these 8 layers and everything. And what you're told about Cherish is Cherish premium pads are the most absorbent, include better technology, and can actually breathe through the bottom layer. Cherish is committed to innovation and manufacturing in an open and honest way. We promote awareness to help people make great choices for their health. Now, does it end there? Are Cherish and Jewel, who have been, you know, backed by the same men, is that it? Is that where we just stop? Or is there more? Well, in my research, because Demond, not Crump, the other one, and the last name just escapes me right now. But anyway, in the video that I shared with you that was in my first video about sanitary napkins, he talks about having traveled to Southeast Asia. And guess what? There is a company there that creates sanitary napkins. Now they say 9 layers of protection. And this company is Lean and Green. Can absorb more than 200 milliliters, can prevent menstrual pain, eliminate odor, controls inflammation, enhances metabolism, improves hormone secretion, strengthens immune system, reduces body fatigue, controls bacteria, relieves stress. Doesn't that sound ever so familiar? So these pads, the Happy Pads by Lean and Green, these were launched May of 2019, before Cherish, before Jewel, and they're from Southeast Asia. So I kind of have my thoughts about some things that might have happened that I will share with you when I come back on camera. So you might think, well, it must end with that. Okay, you found out who started it all. Well, maybe so, and I'm not saying that it all started with them, but what I am saying is that since Demond went on a trip to Southeast Asia, as he says in a video, and then to find a company in that area of the world that has a product very similar to what they put out, you know, as the Cherish Pad, what they're now putting out as the Jewel Pad. It just got me to thinking, is there more? And there is. Another company I found is Colleen Sanitary Pads. And guess what? They launched in January of 2019. And these are described eerily similar to what they're saying about Jewel. And here's the thing. You may have heard this before. There's always an alternative to what an MLM is offering. You don't have to get those type of sanitary napkins, the Jewel ones. You don't have to get them through MLM. You can actually get them through Happy. You can get them through Colleen. You can look on Amazon. You can look on places that other than MLM is my bottom. Do a Google search. Just search for, you know, graphene sanitary pads, anion sanitary napkins. Search for that stuff and you will find a lot of stuff. Now, Colleen is in India. So it looks like, you know, it's like slowly going around the globe. You know what I mean? One thing I do know is that not all women have had equal access to products for when they're menstruating. You know, they just haven't. And if there's anything that can come out and help women, I'm all for it. But what I'm not for is for a product for women because they have a period each month for X number of years, because it's different, you know, for every woman. But it's something that you're going to go through if you're born with a uterus. The fact that there's a product that can entrap you into the world of MLM simply because you menstruate, I think is horrible. And one of the things, I guess there's so many, there's just so much. One of the things that really bothers me is that for the most part, when you look at MLM in the U.S., it's pretty much, you know, white people's world. You see a lot of, you know, blonde girls, blue eyes, white skin. You don't find many African Americans in it, you know. And there was one person who made a comment on another video, and I can't remember what it is, but she offered, you know, a personal reason as to why she believed that was, and I believe she was African American. And, you know, the fact that this MLM is targeting African American women through African American men makes me very uncomfortable. It makes me very uncomfortable for the women because there are still such a large percentage of African American women who do not have the same upward mobility chances as white American women, you know? They just don't. And I don't know what all the stats are, but there is a disparity there. There is a disparity in race between white and black, you know, when you look at the employment, you know, opportunities and stuff. Now, I'm not getting into all of that. I don't want this to be a discussion about that specifically. When I see this, I'm thinking, wow, you're taking advantage of women because of what happens to them biologically. And on top of that, you're ensnaring them into a system that doesn't allow everyone to win. In fact, it really depends on most people losing, on most people paying into the system. And then let's just add that little layer of guilt to make people feel like, well, you haven't tried hard enough. And, oh, don't you want to take care of your body? Don't you want to be healthier? Well, then you need to use this product. And you know what? I can just see a bunch of women believing that and deciding that this is the thing they need to do and getting that product and using it. And one of the things that really drove me crazy in that video and different things that I've seen on it is they talk about women wearing a sanitary napkin for 9 hours. But he did say, like, you have to use less when you use this particular kind. And when they do the demonstration, they dump a bunch of water on it, like, all at once. Well, us women, we know that whatever comes out of our bodies, it's not a deluge. You know, it's not all at one time. There's a bit, and throughout the day, you just want to feel fresher, and so you're going to change something. And so just because this is supposed to entrap moisture, that's just the only way I can put it. and you're going to be more comfortable from it. I just don't see women being okay with, oh, well, it's holding everything in. I'm not, oh gosh, this is hard to say. I'm not leaking out or anything, so I'm just going to keep on the same pad that I put on this morning, and I'm going to wear it all day at work. And you know what? I might go out and have dinner and dancing, and I'm going to be wearing the same pad. I mean, that just sounds wrong on so many levels. But getting you to think that the sanitary pad is somehow going to help you out with your health in some way. Now, I'm not a doctor, and one of the things that they do is they talk about, some OBGYNs, and of course they're men, I mean, really? And so I feel like these men who are doing these demonstrations, and the one that I showed you all speeded up and everything, it was almost like a religious revival. And if you know anything about MLMs and about the events that they have, there's this, it's this fine line thing of how they do use similar tactics. And there's definitely cultish tactics that are being used. So now you are going to mentally manipulate women who are economically at a disadvantage to get them to believe that if they start getting sanitary napkins on auto ship and get all of their friends to start buying them and become distributors, because if you become a distributor, that's going to make you more money. And guess what? We can lift, our women out of this poverty and this economic disparity through our sanitary napkins. That's not going to happen. That's not how MLM works. It just isn't. All you have to do is look at the mini income disclosure statements, look at the study that John Taylor did, which I have mentioned multiple times. It's real easy to see once you know where to look, and once you wake up from the myth that MLM puts out. It's not going to happen. It's just not, and it has nothing, zero, nada, not one iota to do with how hard you work. Has nothing at all to do with that. You can work your butt off and still not have any success, in my opinion. And I've seen this happen time and time again. It depends on your level of influence. For instance, if you are a celebrity, and I can't remember the MLM Tori Spelling is associated with, but she is associated with one, guess what? She has influence. So people will buy stuff simply because she says it. That's influence. If you come in this as a pastor's wife, you got influence. If you come in this as the wife of the head coach of a football team, you've got influence. And you've got that network. Most people don't have that kind of network. Most people don't have that type of influence. And most people will never, ever develop that type of network or influence. So to say that it is, equal, it's not. Yes, everybody buys in at the same rate, but then how you're able to go about and do things and what level of success you have has nothing to do with how hard you work. You can work, I did it myself, working 10, 12 hours a day, every day, 7 days a week for several years. And what did it get me? It didn't get me jack, other than I was the customer. And these men are making their women the customer so that they can make money. It has nothing to do with them making money, but they're going to make people think that it does. Now, I did not go into all the stuff about, the compensation plan or anything like that. It's set up similarly to that of Cherish, to that of, any MLM. And, you can try to find it yourself. I mean, you can do some digging around if you want to. But the thing that I think is really kind of shady about this one is the lack of information in terms of you don't just get to this thing directly. And so that really tells me it's depending a lot on community. It's depending a lot on people's relationships with others. And maybe they're trying to fly under the radar of, the FTC. I don't know. But I do know that if you happen to be an African American woman and you're considering joining this, You need to stop and really think about that. And I hope you have not been too indoctrinated into the belief, into the dream that all MLMs have. You eventually become your own mindset and your own belief system. I hope you're not too far in, because when you get too far in, you can't really see it for what it is, you know, and I don't want you to waste your time and waste your money on trying to build something, because it's really not an equal playing field. If you enjoy anti-MLM content, I hope you'll consider subscribing, hit that notification bell, and give the video a thumbs up, all that sort of stuff. That really does help my content to get seen more, and I'd really love to know your opinion about this MLM and what you think is going on. Do your own research. Above everything else, do your own research before you join anything. Always look to see what is out there, and you want to make sure that you're getting good sources too. You can't just trust that everything that comes up is like, oh, it's all on the up and up. You need to cross-reference everything. So dig around, see what you can find before you make up your mind. And remember, change starts now.